Hello, everybody. It is time for yet another episode of the Nut Bar Seasonal Anime Podcast, and we are reviewing the spring season of anime. I know that the weather is getting hot, and the anime season currently is extremely hot, so you might think, "What? Why even go back? Why look at the past?" There's some pretty good shows from spring, actually, and I kind of like the selection we have. It's a nice little bite-sized package of the shows that I actually finished last season, and most of them have at least something interesting to talk about. So, uh, yeah. Without further ado, y'all just wanna get into it?
Yeah, let's go. Let's
Okay.
do it.
So first up is Apocalypse Hotel. Logan, do you want to talk about this since you're not going to be speaking for 75% of this episode?
Yeah, sure. Apocalypse Hotel might be my favorite show of the season. There's really only one competitor in my mind, and well, for the awards, it wouldn't actually count for this season. But I was thoroughly impressed with Apocalypse Hotel's, I don't know, I guess command of tone, because I think that the show is really funny and really heartfelt and like sometimes really sad and really contemplative, and I'm amazed that it manages to be all of those things at the same time. Like,
Sometimes
I feel
within the
like in
same
any
episode too. Like,
sometimes within the same episode. Like, I think back to that run at the end where it's like episode 9, the really sad episode. Episode 10, maybe the funniest episode in the show. Episode 11, maybe one of the most contemplative episodes of anime ever made. And it's still just insane to me that all of that happened within the span of, like, within the same show, and it never felt like off or like there was some like huge tonal clash going on. The characters are all great and the animation's beautiful, and I just really fell in love with this show.
yeah, I think that I am gonna gush about this one a lot because I think this is maybe my biggest surprise of the year so far, and one of my biggest surprises when it comes to original anime in recent memory. Which I mean, shout outs to Game Pictures right now. They're on a bit of a hot streak. And even if you're not a Numa Musume fan, like Bravern last year was fantastic. This is been exceptional so far. And then they're doing one this season too, which I'm blanking on, but I think is good. Tim.
Hikaru.
Oh yeah, they're doing the Summer Hikaru died, which just after episode 1 is already one of the premiere shows of the next season. So whatever they're cooking up at this studio has been really working for them. But more specific to focus on Apocalypse Hotel, I think I liked this one immediately from the beginning, just because the setup was so unique and the writing was so quirky and fun, and Yachio cements herself as an immediately lovable and relatable character, even despite being a robot. She just does the sort of deadpan main character, tired workwoman bit so exceptionally well that you can't help cheer for her as she tries to maintain this crumbling hotel. Her obsession with the shower caps as a sort of running motif is very fun too. Um, but she gets genuine, real development throughout the runtime of the show, especially when the Taniki family arrives, and then they get a ton of genuine, real development. Obviously, the major one of that is Ponko, who ends up ascending from brat child character to major major
I feel
character.
like she's the only one that get development.
Yeah. I
The rest
think
of them are pretty
the
stagnant.
grandma but yeah,
I mean, not really.
you get to see them live this long life, and you get enough screen time with a lot of them. So I just there is so much to love about this. Like everything Logan talked about is true. This show is uproariously funny. Like some of the funniest bits that happened this year were in this show already. It has some fantastic animation, both in slapstick comedy, some genuine action sequences, which are also kind of slapstick, and then just some of even the like the nice and slow moments. It just looks beautiful, and it is able to really bring out the emotions when it wants to and be extremely heartfelt and very there's a couple of really sad episodes, and trust me, when you're watching the rest of this show, you would not expect them to be able to go there and take it themselves seriously, but they knock it out of the park. The wedding funeral episode is probably going to be one of my favorite anime episodes of this year. And for them to then follow that up with episode 11, which, as Logan talked about, is this mostly silent, almost nature documentary style, contemplative like piece on life and living and death and the apocalypse. It's just art. It's just pure art. This is my front runner for my favorite show of the year so far. I think like it's gonna be like there's a lot of heat for the rest of the year, so I'm sure it could be beat maybe, but like I fell in love with this show. It is spectacular. Tim, did you have anything?
Yeah. Like I think I did like that you go into development and security, that was kind of cool. But for me, like I think I'm leaning more towards what like really attracted me to the show is more what Logan was talking about. It's like how they took this premise of this random hotel and they did so many different genres and so many different directions with this one like simple settings where like Logan talking about the highly comedic bounty hunter, the like really sad wedding, and then the contemplative nature documentary. But then they did so much more than that. They had the whole like Mad Max episode,
Yeah,
space episode. There was some every episode
there's
felt
a
like a
mech
completely
fight.
different. Yeah, there was a mech fight. There was like a superhero Sentai transformation thing that episode. Like every episode felt like it's completely different genre thing, but it all felt like it was still the same show. It still had this strong sense of identity, but they managed to go in so many different directions with this like simple premise and setting. And I'm just so impressed. And every single time they did it, it was like spectacular. And I think there's definitely like one episode for everyone out there if you really look for it. And I'm just really impressed at how they really did the most out of this original setting and weren't afraid to go crazy with it.
Yeah.
And it really definitely paid off.
Just an excellent like ability to create a unique idea and then take it as far as you possibly could with it. I also just love how the hotel grows. And like at the same time, this show is very much about the passage of time. I think the only thing that makes me feel the way that it does is Hoseki no Kuni, especially the manga. And like, you don't really get a lot of shows that are able to be about this sort of subject material. I guess Freerun kind of does too a little bit, but
I would say the passage of time is one of the weakest thing about the show. Because you really don't really feel the implication of how much time is passing, other than maybe the grandma episode. But like between
it's much more subtle.
It's not feel like they're like, oh, 50 years passed and the alcohol is ready. But you never really like feel the implication of those passage of time.
I think by the end of it you definitely do, but especially the episode when she's like trying to find the part.
I think there was some scenes where it does. Like, I think episode 11 was a good example. I think the wedding one was a good example. But, like, for the most part, I don't think the past time was a huge...
I think what it does is it creates a sort of melancholic backdrop to what is otherwise a very lighthearted and goofy show. But it was present the whole time. It's like, in the background, it's like, are the humans going to come back or are they all dead? And it's like, man, they're probably all dead. And that kind of sucks. And I think what the show did with that towards the end was really cool also. But
it did remind me of the ending. I think the way the show ended was maybe the perfect way to end the show.
It was awesome. It was like, such a spectacular way to...
The last like minute of the show was maybe the most fitting ending for the show.
It's extremely funny, extremely wholesome.
It's very on par and with the identity of the show to do it end it that way.
Yeah, very well wrapped up. Yeah,
I was definitely gonna ask like how what's like the best way to like convince me to watch the show, but like actually like Tim's way of describing it, like that actually like has my interest.
I'm telling you, you got to go back and finish this, man. I know it's hard. You have until the end of the year, obviously. Take your time with it, but watch it with your girlfriend. It's fun. It's a fun show. It's a good group watch. We had a blast with it, and then but also it's going to make you cry at the end, which is crazy to say for a show that is as silly as it is. So,
did you cry the last episode?
I mean, I don't really cry at most anime. I'm saying it'll make one cry, probably.
I don't think the ending was meant to be sad.
Not that episode. I'm talking about episode 9 mostly.
Sure. They're all sad episodes. Sure.
I definitely teared up a little bit. All right, we spent a lot of time on this. Watch Apocalypse Hotel. I can't really recommend this. I think I would recommend this to literally anyone. It's quirky, but it's a lot of fun. Okay, next up is Ballpark de wow, I fucked that up. Catch Me at the Ballpark.
There you go. This one I thought Comparative talked about because I really don't think we did it justice in the pre-read. We mostly cast it off as I Have a Girlfriend Already anime, when in fact, like, the part with the teasing good and the dude really aren't really the main focus of the show. I think majority of the time they aren't even on screen. And instead it's the much more like broader ensemble cast of like the staff and fans going to this baseball game and why they love it. And it ended up being this more like atmospheric, warm kind of anime. And I think it was a pleasant surprise from this anime for sure.
That's nice
Yeah,
to hear.
I think nice to hear.
I'm glad. All right. Next up is Fire Force Season 3.
Juan, do you want to
Now-
talk about what you've seen, and then I'll jump in?
Yeah, I mean, like I did get to see like the end of like the first major arc that the season covers, which is the rescue of the captain.
Yeah.
Gotta love a good rescue art, you know. And also the fight with Leonard Burns. Oh,
Such a
Dude.
funny name.
it's legit like the best name I've ever heard in any manga. Leonard Burns, and then his beard catches on fire. Oh, it's so cool. His eye patch. His fucking eye patch catches on fire. God, I wish Logan got on this show. I so wish.
I'm sad I bounced off of it. That guy sounds awesome.
Yeah, well, spoilers. He dies in that arc.
Ah!
His departure was very epic, though. I think it was very
Yeah, it was an
fitting for his name.
extremely good departure. I mean, like,
I'm good with an epic death.
yeah, like it's a very much like a ceiling fight, you know. So, and he went out. He went out like the beautiful firework he is.
I think Fire Force in general, and this season's no exception, stands out a lot in its visually very cool fights, its power system, you know, all the animation. Like, there was a lot of really good fights with like gold and burns and stuff. There was a lot of good moments, and also the fucking dragon dude, whatever it is.
Oh yeah,
fucking
dude,
author
that
popping
part
off.
was so cool.
That was like definitely one of the main appeal of Fire Force is all the fight things, but they also drop like major lore thing in the background at the same time to progress the story.
Mhm.
I guess I will wait a bit to talk about that because one hasn't gotten past the
once you're like ready to go into spoilers, like I'll mute myself.
I want to say the first half was a lot of epic fights and things I wanted to watch. The second half was more focused on progressing the story since it's kind of approaching the finale arc. I guess one can mute himself now.
I mean, yeah, this is part 1 of 3 for the finale. So we're definitely getting close to the end. All right, I'll deafen myself for a bit. Let me know when I can come back.
Sure.
Where is the mute button? There it is.
There we go. I think them moving on and making a lot of big reveals in this season was a big surprise. I think learning about what happened to Orphanage, that they were literally teasing in season 1 with Iris and the Flower Captain, of them like literally becoming human experimentation was an epic thing. I think also the reveal at the end about how like Fire Force, the world of Fire Force is literally like post modern Japan.
Doesn't it tie in with Soul Eater too? That's the one thing.
That's why it's a big review. It's like somehow this ties into Soul Eater because the big moon from Sea showed up, but we also found out that like this was literally like modern day Japan before like the world ended, because this was like because it was a big catastrophe that like ended in the current cities what's left. So before the world ended, it was literally just modern Japan with like the cars and stuff, and we found that out. So somehow Soul Eater is also the real world, but there's also Fire Force,
something
and it's
happened,
just like they're really like pushing this like big lore and story progression.
That is pretty cool that they tied it up together.
And I think that on top of the cool fights leaves like Fire Force like a pretty staple good shonen show to like stick with. It's kind of sad that the rest of you guys aren't in it. But
is there more, or is this it?
there are 2 more parts, I believe. I think the next part's in January of next year.
Okay, so this isn't done yet. Okay, cool.
So it should be done sometime next year, I think.
All right. and now that Juan has been resummoned, we found out that the real fire was the force inside of you all along. And
Oh shit, dude.
all right,
Is it Jesus?
it's JC. All right, Tim, talk to us about hibi wa sugi redo meshi umashi, or food for the soul.
Oh shit, that's the one that Tim really wanted
Yeah,
us to watch.
here, platform, go for it. I would like to
This-
check this out. So
This one's probably the biggest miss you guys had all year, and maybe for the rest of the year. I don't know how many other shows will come up, but like compared to the other slice of life shows, this one stands out among my favorite for the season, which is high praise when we have like you and Camp create a mono among the candidates.
yeah,
But unlike mono, I think this one had a very strong sense of identity of what it wanted to be, and it really exemplifies the like its focus. Created by the author of Nanan Byor, which I don't think any of you guys have seen,
I
but
have
like
not seen.
also
Yeah.
another like quick acclaimed like slice of life author. It has like that with the combination of the great production staff at PA Works doing, they do good stuff. They have really great music and great production staff, the music and delicious food is a great combination for any kind of like comfy healing show. That is everything like a slice of life should be, and it's everything that Logan would hate. So that's how you know it's going to be a great slice of life. And I think it just really like it's like a simple, and it did the simple things really well. And I think the adult cast fun goes eating food in college was going traveling is a good perfect set for the slice of life.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get this done by the end of the year, but we'll see.
Tim, you know what we should have done? We should have watched this for Ecchi Bros instead of Makina-san.
Well,
Not edgy.
actually, bros, I mean, I would have I knew you were into it. I think Mark would have been. I think Mark actually watched some of it. We talked about it a little bit. But I didn't
Yeah.
think you were going to be super into it.
You were the one trying to convince me and Chris.
Yeah, but like Ecchi Bros aren't really for, the non-Ecchies.
What are you talking? We've seen plenty of non-Ecchies.
All right, this sidebar sucks.
Okay.
Okay, let's move
Maybe.
on to the next
know.
show.
All right,
There's
next
a
one
little Tim
is
Power Hour over here.
A little bit.
Kai Tinaka no
Alright.
Osan Kensei ni Naru, or I don't know what the English
Stuff
name
from
is.
the old country bumpkin to master swordsman.
Gotcha.
All right. Well, maybe Power Fantasies and East guys have like broadened the average anime fan's mind, but like when you get a grounded, down to earth older main character where he slowly crafts his art and has cool, well done CG sword fights, that sounds pretty appealing to me, and that's really all I need. I think this, it's really the premise of the show, and it's all I need. The show does have some flaws. I think they do try to bring some flashy to the show, where they bring complicated things, where his like students are all kind of like heads over heels for him. But I think they like at least know to rein it in so it's not too obnoxious. And there is a complicated like macro politic plot that they're trying to push, but I think it could have done without. But like honestly, at the end of the day, it's like a humble, skilled swordsman teaching life lessons to his students and have cool fights, and I think that's all you really need. And they did well.
I heard this
Good
was
show.
pretty solid. Yeah, people like this one. All right, next up is a big one, which is Kido Senshi Gundam G-Cukes. Yeah, we started this, but all dropped it at around episode 6, 5 or 6, somewhere in that range.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the last
Finished
thing that happened in the show before you dropped it?
The very normal girl showed up.
The one everyone was horny about that had the big titties and the like dead eyes, and she died. Spoilers.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Was
Like,
that
what was the
episode
point of
6?
introducing such a cool character and then kill her off? Same episode.
Was that really episode 6?
Worked for
That's crazy.
Kaoru. Spoilers for Evangelion if you've never seen that.
No, that was episode 4. If you watch, that was the last episode.
I don't remember, man. It's been a long time.
Okay, I was like, there's no way that was episode 6. Okay. Yeah, I gave you guys plenty of warning that one, a lot of like 079 knowledge was going to be needed, which you guys actually didn't get to the part where 79 knowledge was actually that
Char didn't
necessary.
show up, but he was there a little bit, but I know he shows up later.
And also that Anno was only involved in the prequel film stuff.
Which I knew, but yeah.
Well,
I'll be honest,
that.
I
and then
didn't
you guys
even
like
care about
forget
that
everything after the
episode.
podcast.
I didn't even care about that episode nearly as much as the rest of it, but yeah.
That episode's only really cool when you watch the
I've
original.
seen the original one.
And you see like the little like canon AU where it's like, you know, what if like Rey got inside the mech instead of Shinji, you know, or something like that. What was Rey the main character? Or, you know, Asuka or something, you know. Or like Misaka was the main character. I don't know. It's a cool thing when you actually like know the original material and you're like, oh shit. But yeah. Do you guys have anything else you guys wanted to say?
I thought that this show looked very good visually and had some cool styles. I liked the character designs pretty much across the board. But I think that its character writing was weak and the plotting and pacing was a little bit like, I don't know, difficult to follow, especially when you're missing the background of the lore about the original Gundam and it doing the sort of Star Trek 2009 reboot thing where it takes the timeline and changes it. I don't know. It was difficult to keep my attention, and that's why we ended up dropping it, especially because we heard the end was kind of not very good. But Tim can talk about that.
Yeah, without getting too nitpicky about the show, I would say that the show was extremely ambitious about what it wanted to do, and it didn't have nearly enough time to like do everything that it wanted to do. I think it would have, you know, you would think after like Witch from Mercury, they would have learned a lesson that like 2 core is not nearly enough to tell a Gundam story, because even that was like kind of rushed towards the end. And them trying to do all of this, which is I would consider way more ambitious than 12, was like never going to happen. And well, I like honestly expected season 2, but like they just like sped on that second half. Chris' complaints about the main characters were kind of valid, because the main characters weren't even really main characters. In the second half, it like shifts to like very much 79 characters in politics, and we felt like more like Machu and the other main characters were just like spectators that we were watching this like 79 Gundam AU politics drawn out war thing. And that's part of the reason why they all kind of like non-existent characters, because they kind of aren't. They didn't really get the time to develop them. And the ending, because like I said, it was like extremely ambitious and they had to wrap everything up in 12 episodes, was like not, yeah, it was messy, but like I guess you could call it conclusive. That being said, I know a lot of people had a lot of enjoyment going through and comparing this with like the original timeline. There was a lot of like analysis videos about like, oh, just what changed and stuff. And it was kind of split down the middle of people who like really like putting tin hat and like the show being kind of vague and you figuring stuff on your own. And also like people who are like, I don't care enough, I'm going to drop it, which I think is what this group ended up leaning towards. But that's fine, I guess. If they were going to drop it like by episode 4, they were definitely going to drop it in the later half where it gets very much into like 79 history. So it was going to happen either way.
Ah, well.
I think my favorite part of the show is when Hachimachi Sway Sway did the ED. I like that girl.
Okay.
That is neat.
Not even that into like Hololive.
Huh?
You're not even that much into Hololive.
I'm a casual fan.
Yeah, he's a fair weather. He dips in and out. All right.
Exactly.
Next up is a show we watched. Kowloon Generic Romance.
Hey, nothing generic about this show.
No, it really is actually one of the more unique narratives I've seen in a while. For better or for worse. Do you want to talk about this one, Juan?
Yeah, sure. It's been a hot minute since I've talked. Kowloon Generic. Like, this show is weird. Like, it really likes to hold off on all the information until like the very end of the show. I mean, like, I like the transportation it gave us, but like honestly, the show was like really hard to follow like most of the time. And,
not just trans. There's a lot of good LGBTQ representation across the board. Yeah.
Yeah. But like the show was like really hard to follow, and then like the payoff was like, it was alright. Like, I don't hate it. There's, like Chris was saying, like, for better or for worse, there's some like good moments in the show, and then there's like, all right, we kind of get it kind of moments in the show. What do you think, Chris?
I think that it is pretty clear that this is an adaptation of a longer manga that's been kind of crunched down a little bit. I think we missed on some stuff in it, and that is a little bit apparent. I think that, like Juan said, that it can be a little cryptic to the point of being confusing at times with some of the like complicated ideas it's trying to be about when it comes to like personhood and all these clones going on. But by the midway point, I had a pretty good idea of like vaguely what was happening. I just needed for the show to tell me why, you know? And it did a little bit of petering around, especially with the main two characters. I found that the side cast characters tended to be a little bit more interesting throughout. Though I do like Kujira, the main girl. I think she was good. The guy was a little weaker. All of that being said, I think that this show does, and I hate to compare it to a much better show because I liked this, but I think it does the Tatami Galaxy thing where if you can make it to the last episode, it will make sense. They will explain it. You will understand what happened and why thematically. It just takes you to the very end for them to like finally tell you like, okay, this is what it's about. And I found that to be a pretty cathartic ending. That I actually quite like a lot, and I think helped salvage the show a little bit for me. So while not perfect, pretty enjoyable. And I'm going to change it to a 7 instead of an 8 on my Mallet page that I have it right here because I think that's a little bit more accurate. But I liked this. I think if you like, you want something that is very mature, very adult feeling, very seinen sort of. Maybe is it a seinen or a josei? I don't know. This says seinen. Okay, seinen.
I'd say Jose.
It's tagged as seinen on Mal, so I'm gonna go with that. So, if you're looking for something a little bit more mature and dense, you like LGBTQ themes, even if it's about a heterosexual couple, there are side characters that are very gay. Especially if you like yaoi. I think that this one's cool to check out just because it's a unique setting. The Kowloon City setting is really interesting. If you like weird.
I feel like the Kowloon setting could have been done more with. Like, I feel like it's always like called like, oh, like the
it was
walled
a little
city,
bit more
like,
prevalent in the first couple episodes, then it kind of stopped being about that. So.
Yeah, like I wanted it to be more about the city because, like, you know, it's.
What did you want them to do?
It's just it's a setting. There's only so much you can do with that. I don't know.
But like how Durarara like is like about Akihabara, you know, like I kind of want.
It's really about Ikebukuro, you fake ass fan,
my bad,
dumb
my
bitch.
bad.
Sorry, I do agree. I think Durarara is a really good example of a setting that feels alive the entire time. But I mean, that's also just because Narita's a great character writer too. So I don't know.
I don't think Kowloon's ever about the city, and also knowing about the finale and what the city actually was, it kind of makes sense that the city felt a bit hollow at the same time too.
Yeah,
I guess
it's a character drama, and I think that the characters are mostly pretty good, so that is praise enough, I think.
What parts were you guys like confused about?
It was more like in the interim, but like I said, by the end I totally understood it.
Yeah, same. Like it was just it was really hard to follow it. Like it was just trying to be a mystery the entire way, and like it just didn't give us like enough like breadcrumbs along. Like it.
Some of the stuff
like,
about
we just
some
got like an entire
mechanics, because you don't really find out that the one guy's dad's company is doing all of it till closer to the end, and then it just kind of becomes about that. And they made it seem like it was maybe something a little bit more metaphysical happening, and there still is some kind of implication that it was maybe a bit more metaphysical and not really like a science thing going on. That was kind of the most vague thing about that, but I don't mind it being vague necessarily. It was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't mind it as much because it didn't really feel like he was the main focus of the show that much. They kind of like gloss over him.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing that kind of like I wish I learned more was more about like Kujira B and what like led up to the.
Well, that's what the last episode was about. So yeah, it was interesting. She's an interesting character case study, like I said, and I like the conclusions. The themes that it was exploring at the end are good and have been explored, I think, in other media, maybe a little bit better, but it's a theme that I like a lot, which is you don't get any do-overs in life and you have to accept change instead of wallowing in the same thing. And it was powerful. I liked that a lot. So.
Yeah, I think I like the final message. I also think it's pretty rare. Like, I know there are other like LGBT animes out there, but like this one's not as like mainstream as this one. And also this one covers a pretty wide coverage of the themes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Between, the BL ship and also like Zalhei's identity and stuff. There was a lot of like some different, aspects they kind of go in, while like normally they usually only like go in 1 or 2. This one kind of pretty wide coverage, which I was kind of surprised. I didn't expect that, and I was impressed with how it did that.
Me too.
I kind of wish Reiko was a little more. I feel like all the characters were kind of need a little more fleshing out. Maybe because it was less
I think
racing,
everyone was a little bit flat, except for some of the side characters because they didn't have as much time, so they were more focused. But yeah, I agree. I liked her friend, the blonde girl. Yeah,
the Yao Mei. Yeah,
she was my favorite.
I think she was very cool. I think there was a lot of cool messages and the themes in there, but
I have
maybe the weakest part. But I think
I have heard that the manga is better. I have heard that the manga spends a little bit more time and is a little bit better at.
I mean, yeah, I think we knew from the get-go that it was going to be a pretty rushed adaptation because we knew it was going to adapt everything in the manga, and there's
just
a lot in the manga.
Yeah.
So we knew ahead of time that it was.
But I think if you're a fan, it's worth watching, and if not, it's a cool enough idea that you should probably check it out. So I liked it.
Yeah, even without the flaws, I think it had, like I said, there's a lot of cool themes and things. It was Pete themes, and
you could do a lot worse for like unique romance mystery anime. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this could have been bad, and it definitely wasn't. Like, I think it's, if this is like the lower bar for the season, that's totally fine with me. It's a cool and unique show. Okay. Ooh, next up is a big one. Logan, you want to come out of hibernation and talk about Apothecary Diaries Season 2?
Apothecary Diaries Season 2, baby. I think you should start with this one, actually.
Okay, fine. Look, when the goat speaks, you tune in and you listen, and Mao Mao is back, and look, she's better than ever. I mean, what can I say? It's just more Apothecary Diaries. I think I liked this season better than season 1, which is hard to say because like season 1 was already so fucking good, but just the more you layer this narrative and the more in depth you go, it just gets better and better. And we've got introduced to a bunch of really interesting characters. One in particular in Lulan, who is probably one of the best characters that's ever been done in this entire show. Just like, obviously we can talk a lot about the back arc and the kidnapping arc is because it's just been some of the most thrilling TV I watched this year, and it was like spectacularly done for a number of reasons and focus on all that. But like, that's not even talking about the first part with, the assassination attempt and the cave scene and the frog. Like, there's just so many incredibly iconic moments in this season alone. The show still continues to look and sound great. The acting performances are phenomenal. What can I say? This is premium television right here, and I'm glad that it's getting the recognition it deserves. Like, this is the good stuff.
Mm-hmm. I agree wholeheartedly. I think that this was a really strong narrative, and this season felt a little bit more focused than the first season, just because it got to all be about Lolan and her family's situation.
I think they're forgetting the first half because it was only the second half that.
Yeah, it was mainly the second back 12 that was on that. She was in it. I mean, she was in it.
Assassination stuff, related.
But the whole season 1 was also building up to this is a narrative that has been building up the entire show, and there was stuff happening both in season 1 and the first half of the season.
The thing with Apothecary is it's all unrelated incidents
until it is. Yeah.
There's 1% that is related, and then at the very end we find out how all the 1% adds up to be related. and that's kind of how the show's been. Like,
Especially
season 1 was like
this
the
season.
assassination attempt, and like
Yeah.
she did like 6 different mysteries. Like, oh, they gave one hint here and one hint here that like slowly adds up to the assassination attempt with the pillow falling on him
Yeah.
and shit.
And then and
That's
then all
kind
the
of the
Shisui
show.
stuff, which ends up getting paid off here. This season had a lot of payoffs for stuff that had been set up for the past 40 episodes. So it's like you're really
Trisei was definitely the highlight of this season, but I think the first half felt a little bit weaker in the first half. Also, one thing that I kind of like hate about the show is like I don't know if they think we're in something, but like they're like constantly hinting that like, oh, Junshi's the fucking like Emperor's brother. And
I
shit. And
don't think that they're trying to be coy about it. I think that the show knows the audience knows.
I think that the show doesn't think we know, and they keep hinting at
They
it.
told us explicitly in season 1. They definitely know we know. They just
know something's up with Jinshi, and they kept trying to hint at it. And it's like they never explicitly ever say that. They still don't ever explicitly ever say that until like he shows up as the fucking in the finale of the season 2. But like that was the big point of like, oh, who's Jinshi? Who's the brother? How does he know all this? And it felt like
I think it's because the show is told and the books are told from Mao Mao's perspective, and she is an unreliable narrator, and that even though she may have pieced it together, she is refusing to engage with it.
It is not always from Mao's perspective. I don't know, it just feels weird to me that we have these like very like subtle hints that they plant through that like adds up to the big finale, but they also have like, is the prince in your face like 10 times, and they still expect us to be like, I wonder why they keep hinting at this.
I don't think that that's meant to be as much of a mystery as you're playing it out to be. I think it's more about how Mao Mao ends up finding out and like what the consequences are now that he's finally given up his role in the Inner Palace. And
Mao Mao refuses to find out for like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Even like in the frog scenes and everything, even leading to that, she's still.
I mean,
like,
if Jinshi was less of a pussy, he could have told her, but it's okay. I don't know. I think that's more of a nitpick to me, but
I think Tracy's arc was by far the far highlight of the show, and it almost makes up for the more like lackluster first half of the show. But I really like the relationship between those two and the friendship. I don't know how I feel about the ending. About, I guess, spoilers, her being alive in that.
Allegedly, but yeah.
I mean,
I think she's
clearly alive.
I think it makes a lot of sense because I think she's very clearly smart enough to figure something out. Like, she figured this thing out with all the kids, and so why would she not be able to do the same thing? You know?
I thought it would have been more fitting if she died, or I think it would have been more fitting.
I think it would have been tragic and it would have worked well, but I don't blame the show or the writers for doing that. I think she's allowed to have a happy life somewhere else in a foreign country. She went through a bunch of shit.
I initially thought was going to happen was that Jinshi's hairpin that he gave to Mao Mao, when Mao Mao gave it to her, she would have been able to use that as like.
No, there's no way. No. That's not how it works. They would have still executed her as being the direct daughter.
The Emperor's son's concubine or something.
It doesn't matter.
I think she would
have been the baseline
been,
level of betrayal.
But
especially as a concubine of the current emperor, no, he would have.
I don't think she would have gotten scot-free, but I think they would have like lessened the punishment if she used the pin. I thought that was
they were all fucked.
I was very curious why Mao decided to give her the pin, but I thought it was going to pay off somehow. But
it might later. It might later. We'll see.
It wrapped up a little too nicely. I don't know.
I wonder if that's a bit of an adaptational thing or not, but I still loved it. I thought the finale was great. So, I love the snake pit scene. Big highlight.
No, snake pit scene was very funny.
I don't know if I want to say Shishio like was a better character in the season than Mama was, but it kind of felt like she.
I think that she stole the show for sure.
Yeah, which is impressive considering
Mama is like one of the greatest MCs in a while.
And Chishu's like stealing the spotlight this season says a lot about her.
It's very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on, sort of a ping pong from quality here. We're going to be talking about the newest Shinichiro Watanabe anime, Lazarus.
sad to say, the goat is washed.
He's washed. He's
washed.
washed.
I've been saying it.
But like we have to like fully admit it at this point.
We
really
like
do.
because like I think
You
Carol
guys
and
been in
Tuesday had
denial
some
for so long.
merit.
You were just
Hey,
sucking
look.
that copy and being like, Carol Tuesday wasn't his fault. Everything,
I
Surely
thought
there's something
Zonkyo
else.
No Terror was better than some people do, even though it has lots of problems. But yeah, I have to admit it. The goat is washed. I think that this this anime feels disrespectful to its viewers' intelligence, is how I would describe it. I am sure if you just want to completely turn your brain off and ignore what this anime is trying to be about and just watch the cool action sequences, you can have a pretty good time. And I had a good time with all the action sequences, because even though I kind of hated the show and the characters at this point, all of the high octane action sequences are brilliant. The animation is awesome. It's going to have some best fight scene contenders for the end of the year. But like,
yeah.
The soundtrack's really good too. It's almost like a music video. If you just treat it like a music video, pretty cool. But my problem is that the show has an air about it that it is trying to be smart and like telling this complicated, morally dubious story. And it's just one of the dumbest fucking things. It's so stupid. It's so dumb. And also,
Hey, what was Skinner's plan?
he wanted to
What?
expose the military's corruption. And by doing that, he had poisoned the entire world and did not guarantee a safe way to actually save everybody. It was not a fake out. Everyone was going to die. They just somehow were able to mass produce enough of a cure within like a...
Realistically, people did die.
I know! Millions of
Vomit.
people would have had to have died. There's no way they would have gotten the cure out to everyone in that time. There's
Yeah,
no
to
way they had the
make it up and
capacity.
distribute that much. There's
Yeah.
no way.
There's just no way.
Like,
They
also,
spent...
the fact that the cure was like 3 chemical compounds. We just like no one.
Yeah,
else
they
could
couldn't figure that out. No, it was a real mystery. And my other problem with this show, aside from the fact that they spend too much time on characters that are uninteresting and don't matter, is that this is a fucking globe-trotting episodic adventure where maybe 10% of the total screen time of the show is spent focused on the narrative. Like, we spend so much time of this show doing fucking whatever. They do not advance the narrative of the drug plot until like episode 11. It's ridiculous.
What the drugs? We didn't know about like the military drugs until much later. But like,
yeah, with
I
the whole
would agree
military
that the
plotline show is not present.
was literally all style, no substance. There is no development in any of the characters at all. Well, I mean,
there
yeah,
is
pretty
some.
much
It's
no
just
development.
weak. It's just not very good.
I would say
Yeah.
that's what's like. It was like a little bit, but like really not worth the amount of screen time opportunities they had. And there's no development in the story at all. You could watch episode 1, you could watch episode 8, and they would make the exact same progress. You did not lose.
You could,
progression in the
seriously,
story
you
between
could
those
skip to.
We're
straight to
forgetting
seven.
about the Porter Robinson episode, and he comes back in the finale.
I think episode 4, the club
that was
episode,
fucking
works as a
dumbass.
really cool self-contained episode, and that's about the highest praise I can give.
The
Episode 1 was
fucking
cool 'cause it was the
Colt
setup.
episodes are fucking cuss after
That-
the fucking
That was
Japan thing.
incredibly
But,
bad.
that was
Remember
the
when they gave
perfect
two?
opportunity to like explore your character, having one of the main characters of the series go back to her childhood home and explore her, like, give her growth and learn more about her. But instead, it was the most like superficial, non-whatever story, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew that like this
And
show
she
was
didn't
a
even
lost cause.
really develop at all, and it didn't.
No, she
matter.
didn't. Even that was the little perfect opportunity to
And then
develop
she
her as a
had no
character.
screen time for the rest of the show because she got her episode, which is how they treat most of these people too.
That's why I was like the characters don't develop at all. But I mean,
And it's just-
like Russian Good somewhat did, but like it's so superficial and surface
I
level
think
that
her
don't give a
backstory was
shit.
probably the best, and I think that she was the most interesting.
and it's so superficial.
But it is incredibly
It didn't amount to
superficial.
much.
And like the black guy
just-
had one of the coolest designs, and like he was just a cool character. He fucking nothing happened with him. I don't know. It was a wasted potential ass show. Give me this cast of characters and the setting without the stupid Hapna plot doing literally anything else with some competent writing, and I think you could have a really cool action show here. But that is not what Lazarus is, unfortunately.
Logan was trying to say something. Well,
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Logan.
I was gonna say, remember when they gave two characters the exact same backstory, referring
Like
to
in a row?
the code? No, I don't
Which
know.
two?
I don't remember if it was in a row, but it was both the what's it called, the coder girl and the Russian girl had the same, like, I was caught from childhood in a bad situation and I wanted to leave, but there was another girl there and then I left and now I've got beef with the girl that I left behind. It was the exact same
And there's
thing.
like Yuri undertones in both situations, more so with the Russian one, but like
Definitely way
yeah.
more with the Russian.
I just like this show looked really good, and that's
It
what's
had
frustrating.
the flair. Like, especially episode 1, you had like the parkour jumping around.
Yeah,
bits that,
I like watching the
Watanabe's
guy jump
known for.
around. It was cool.
It had the jazz music going on. It was very like Watanabe, but like the show was literally all style.
It feels like Watanabe wanted to make an AI version of his own show. And they just splotted together this, just no effort was put into the narrative, no effort was put into the plotting or the characters. Like, what's his name? The main guy is Axel is very clearly a Spike Spiegel ripoff. I actually hated him less than I thought I would, just because his attitude kind of fits my level of investment with the show. And so it ironically kind of worked.
The main character, main character.
He never
of the
mattered,
series, and we don't know a single god thing about him other than he escaped from prison. That's literally his entire identity.
Yeah,
and that's all we know about him. And I don't know. This
the
show's
end
supposed to
is
be the suspense. The end is
stupid.
coming, and we don't.
They were
have a
all
feeling it's
there at the one
show.
same moment. I don't know.
Yeah, they on the same moment. They threw in the assassin guy for no reason.
That,
other than
despite that having, he had
him.
some of the coolest action scenes in the whole show. That plot line was fucking a waste of time, and that character didn't matter at all.
Plot line was
and they tried to make us feel bad for him, and I'm like, what are we doing, man? Why are we spending so much time with this character? It doesn't fucking matter.
His whole, like, also he had the most backstory of all the characters.
Yeah, for real.
We learned about his like assassin boot camp thing, and he killed them all. Like that's way more. The main characters actually.
That was some of the most interesting visuals in the whole show too. But by that point in the show, when it was getting revealed, I was like, "Why are we?" I was so mad that we were spending time on this.
Why does he exist?
Also, like the messy environmentalism thing. Like you're trying to make this message about environmentalism and stuff, and it's just completely...
Well, that kind of makes sense in the beginning because it was like, I think the message was like, oh, humanity's better off.
It doesn't.
The Earth is better off without humanity because of all the shit we're doing. But then it's about the drugs. It was never about the environment.
It has nothing to do with the environment. If you follow the macro plot, if you follow the macro plot of what Lazarus is actually about, environmentalism and population control is a red herring. It was literally just to expose the military's corruption and their wrongdoing. Anyway, this is my front runner for Trainwreck of the Year. Not that it had much momentum to go, but I think just by the nature of it being this high profile and it being a Watanabe show and Adult Swim putting all this money behind it, like I was enjoying the first couple of episodes, but man,
I was already skeptical after episode 1.
What a letdown!
Already feel like
I was hoping it would pick up, and it really didn't. But the year is not over yet, so we can always continue to be disappointed.
There's no way anything's worse than this.
Anything else?
I would love to see the fucking audio bar for this one. Like, dude, this is like the loudest we've been the entire episode.
It's because I'm the most mad I was this year watching anime. All right. Next up is My Bishi Witches or Bashi Witches.
I didn't take notes for this one, so I'm gonna ring it. My Bashi Witch was definitely a wild card surprise for me. I saw it as like, this new original one. I don't know if it's multimedia IP thing that they're trying to kick off, but like the story is pretty simple. It's like these girls become witches and they become full-time witches by like how people grant their wishes. Every episode, like a new girl comes in with a problem and they like learn about her like issue and they development and they quote unquote fix it. But like I think the drama and dialogue of each character and their growth throughout the series really surprised me, where like there was actually kind of compelling writing in all of them, and it really picks up throughout the show. I think they dropped the ball once or twice in the show, but like for the most part, it was definitely a wild card surprise of how well competent the writing in the show actually was. It wasn't like a advertisement for this new IP group that's kicking off, but it was actually really good.
Nice.
I enjoyed it.
All right.
Do you want to talk about Mono?
I would love to talk about Mono. Does Juan want to kick us off, or do we want me to do it?
Dude, Mono, Yuru Camp is back, baby.
This is the best season of Yuru Camp. I'm just gonna say it right now. Maybe the movie's
Do
better.
you like this
but-
more than Yui Camp?
I think that they're different. I think that they're different.
Yuru Camp season 1 is still like legit one of my favorite.
I think
comfy shows of all
that
time.
I think that it's kind of apples to oranges, and that this is doing something a
I
little bit
don't
different. So
I think I could compare this to Yui Camp because it's such a wildly different show. But I think if a gun to my head, I would say
it has the
over this.
pulsing DNA of Yuru Camp running through its veins at every second. I feel
Yeah.
like it's very
You
obvious
think
it's the
so?
same mangaka. Yes, dude.
I mean, yes, there is some.
It's
like,
a travelogue
aspects of it, obviously because
show.
it's the same manga, but still.
It's
Also,
a
the constant
lovingly
Yuru Camp cameos throughout
yeah.
the
I mean,
entire show.
they don't. It's obviously the same world, but like
Yeah.
it is a comfy like travelogue show with a heavy focus on like local food and sightseeing, which is not what it pretends to be at the beginning. I think that it's really funny that
you
this is
remember
ever
when
about
we were a photography club?
yeah
and
for
we were
like
taking
3
pictures?
episodes, 2.5, and then it just turned into Yuru Camp. But except with ghosts, I still all the supernatural shit that is just in this show without any real major explanation is strange. It's a strange little production for them to make so much effort into these wacky, spooky situations too. But it was fun.
I think this show tried to be too many things.
Yeah,
I think it started off as a photography club, and then they went to a travel anime, and then they went to a supernatural anime, and they went to a
Well, I mean, the supernatural part was just like as a bit for an episode.
Yeah.
but it came back. It was
well,
a repetitive
except
bit.
the second time it was actually a prank, and so it wasn't really, but the same.
I think there was
No, I like the variety of the show. It keeps you on your
Every
toes.
time the dog character came back, I think it was somewhat ghost related. Though, obviously it wasn't as relevant as when they got hunted in the tunnel, but there was always some like supernatural bit whenever that chick was around, the black hair.
I mean, like to me, clearly this manga was just a tax write-off for this mangaka.
That's
and
what
you
you
know,
always
fucking
say about
good for
everything.
them. Well, no, not everything. No,
Every
but
time
like,
we have a slice of life travel anime, you're like, oh, this is just a tax write-off. You said the exact same thing about
I have
the
never
fucking-
said that sentence before in my life before right
You
now.
said that about Zatsutabi when we were talking about that in the
I
pre-read.
never watched Satutabi.
We talked in the pre-read. You said that.
I never. No.
We talked. Yeah.
Regardless, I like that though. I because like every episode was just so fun, so different from each other. You know, like I do think that like the food ones were my favorite, just because like they were. Dude, food looks great in this show.
Everything looks great in this show. This show has fantastic visuals and animation. Like, this is one of the best looking shows of the season. And that's what that's why I'm like jokingly saying it's the best season of Eurocamp, just because as good as the visuals in Eurocamp are, the animation stylization and just like insane shot composition and like crazy camera angles and Sakuga is much crazier
Well, I mean,
in the
like,
show. And
Eurocamp was
back to the
never
apples
as
and oranges
dynamic
bit,
as
though.
Mono
I know, and I
was,
don't think it
so-
needs to be either. That's
Yeah.
what makes this
Like-
show special, in my opinion, is just the crazy visuals throughout. They do such a good job.
Eurocamp felt more like atmospheric,
Yeah.
surreal episode 11 of Apocalypse Hotel. Well, like this one feels more like, episode 10 wacky hijinks, more off the balls comedy in Mono, where like there's a lot of gags going on between the main girls and stuff. I don't know. I feel like there's a little bit too much going on with the characters. I like the core character dynamics, but then we also, when you add in like the random Fandom Ghost member side, her being obsessed with the senpai and her reception that was like relevant for like one episode, it went away, and like
And it came
each
back at the end, though.
character's- It came back at the end a little bit, but then there was like all these like gags. I think there was a lot going on, and I think because the show kept jumping around, it was fine. But I think that's perk of the show, but also it kind of like detriments the show to a bit. If you like that, then it is. But also if you don't like it, then it gets a little like overwhelming, I think. But
Nah, I like
there
having
was
ADHD.
I think it was a lot of fun. I would for sure, and I think the animations were great. Like the skateboarding scenes, really really cool. Like them traveling. I think the ninja house was, a lot of good guys, a lot of good food. The cast good, but I don't know. It just felt like it was trying to be too much, and I'd rather just like zero in on one other thing.
I am okay with something zany and all over the place like this if it is able to maintain a high level of quality throughout. And I think that despite it being maybe a little bit too much all over the place narratively, that it was such a fun experience to watch overall, and it was so unique that makes up for it for me. So I place a lot more value in that than some might. I think if you like slice of life and if you like Eurocamp and these kinds of travelogue shows, you can't miss this. It'll be a good time.
You gotta watch this. Like all Yashike should aspire to be like this. Honestly,
It's
I don't
definitely
think I'll
higher.
like Yashike.
It's definitely higher energy in a way that these aren't, but they have those moments too, and it's still very pleasant throughout. So, yeah, don't miss it if you are into these kinds of shows at all. Any kind of cute girl shows, this is pretty premium. All right, now we got to talk about real cinema. Let's back up.
is it?
Uh,
Oh no, you're skipping over one, Chris.
oh, where's Moonrise? Sorry, I thought I had it up.
There's
Give
I was
me-
gonna say, like, you're
show
calling
season
Moonrise Kino?
Yeah, that's definitely how I felt watching episode 1. Okay, Tim, tell us about Moonrise. We watched episode 1 and thought it was mid and dropped it.
Man, I haven't seen Moonrise since.
Yeah, it's probably been a while. You
Beginning of
binged it.
April.
Yeah, I was gonna say you binged it
I
4
wanted
months
to
ago.
On the surface level, it is a wit action sci-fi original, and that alone carries a lot of weight for being at the very least like very entertaining. And I don't know why exactly everyone got turned off episode 1. I know it wasn't like the
It was
greatest
kind of
writing, but
stupid.
it wasn't-
Yeah, it's like I don't know what to
it
tell.
wasn't the greatest writing, but it wasn't like drop episode 1 bad. But I think they just got a little overwhelmed and they decided it wasn't worth it. I do think the show. Man, I kind of wish I pulled up. I would notes when the show and when I binge it, but I think the show does kind of fall apart a bit when it becomes more about it becomes less about Earth fighting the moon for peace thing and more about like this AI proxy war. It gets a little too big for its britches. It tries to be too ambitious, which seems to be a trend with a lot of shows these days, and it kind of loses itself. But like until then, I think the power system of like how the moon gravity works and the weapons transforming was all a lot of cool. And this is another one where I would say it's a lot more style than substance, and at the very least, it was entertaining. And I really liked Mary Ina at the end. This is her first time voice acting. She usually does just like songs and stuff. So I was impressed with how well she did for her first job, for sure. Now we can talk about your peak show.
All right. I dismissed this show early on because, and I know that Logan can speak to this a little bit more. Logan really hated the pre-read for the one on this one, and I knew that Shaft was giving it an adaptational glow up to some extent, and so I was like, yeah, we'll check out episode 1.
I was way more hot on it. I'm like, you know what? It's Shaft. I'm gonna give this a shot.
I was more hard about it, and then as soon as episode 1 aired, I was like, everyone needs to be watching this show.
Yeah, this is maybe the single biggest surprise of the year so far for me. What is there to say about Ninkoro? I feel like it's one of those shows that you really need to experience on your own, and there's only so much that we can tell you about it, but like
I mean, it's a dark comedy, and
it is a
boy,
black
is it
comedy.
dark.
Yeah, it is a black comedy about it is a real true ass Yuri. Not beating around the bush about that at all. It is a biting
that's why
social
Chris wanted to
commentary.
try it.
Is a biting social commentary. It's got Shaft production values and a lot of really good fight animation. It's incredibly depressing at times, but is also extremely funny throughout the whole runtime. Just about as good as gag comedy can get, while also maintaining serious and real development episode to episode. We do not reset to the status quo. That is not how this shit works. Things get
There
worse.
are consequences to literally every action.
That is what the show is about. The show is about consequences at its core. And for a show in which all these ninjas coming to kill them get wantonly and brazenly murdered in seconds, it adds up over time. I will say that maybe not every single episode is at the peak of it, and I'm sure other people might have some criticisms about different things here and there, but I had a blast this entire runtime, and there's a couple episodes in particular. The Roboco one is the one that comes to mind, but there's a couple others. The baby one was crazy too.
I'm pretty sure the Roboco episode kind of like changed us at our core.
And I just... this show's willingness to push their bits to the extreme and then some.
Yeah.
And then also, I'm surprised that they were able to bring it all back around at the very end into something surprisingly wholesome for, again, just how fucked up this show is most of the time. Yeah, boundary breaking, really, is how I would describe this. And I really hope more happens. If not, I'm going to have to go read the manga because I'm very invested now.
You're probably going to read the manga. Let's be honest. Shaft doesn't
make anime, yeah.
Yeah, I think the gags were really funny and great. I think all the ninjas dying in like 0.2 seconds never got old. And then the after credit scenes really push it over the edge to the dark comedy when we see the happy life and the what ifs or what was like lost through each life taken. That was like,
dude, the end of episode 2,
there, but
yeah, when like the three ninjas that were like introduced in that in the first and second episode, they were all living together. Like they all just got a house, and they're like, "Wow, I'm so excited to live in our house." Yeah, we got this assignment.
They really do 180 with the dog to the comedy, and then I think the school classmate dad had to be one of the targets.
Oh my god, that episode!
That one was like, you didn't go.
That one is the most sad, I think, just because you're realizing that it's in this world, people are hiring hits on children,
kids,
just to get ahead in class, and you're
was it kids?
Yeah, it was her classmate. It was the high schooler.
Well,
dude.
Tim was talking about like the dad of
the dad.
Yeah, there was another bit with the classmate too.
That was like near the beginning, and then like halfway through the season, we got the episode of like of the friend being killed.
And then to go 180 again and have him be in heaven, like having like a live stream.
Oh, that episode where all the ninja are in heaven.
It just goes like it constantly does a 180 with like going dark to like comedy and dark and comedy and the bits, and it does it so well, and it's so funny and so gruesome at the same time, and it has the Roboco episode, which is like Chris said, maybe one of the best episode. I think if there's any time where the character resets a bit, I think the Roboco might have been it. Where like they try to slowly transition her like feeling towards the robot to her the actual Sadako. That maybe would have been a bit reset, and I think if there was any complaint, I think it was them trying to adjust to their relationship again after that departure. But that's a pretty minor complaint to like how funny and out of wacky and pushing boundaries the show was, and its every aspect it tried to tackle.
Logan, as the one who read the first chapter and wrote it off, and we convinced you to come back, what do you think of the show?
Yeah, what was your overall after everything?
I think that this show had a really good midsection, but I think I did not really find the beginning all that funny, nor did I find it particularly gruesome, because, I mean, it is just kind of the same joke over and over again. It's like, the ninjas had a life, and then they died, and immediately, and now they're leaves.
I think sorry, I'll let you finish. Sorry.
I think things started working for me in episode 4. I think it was the one with the coffee shop girl.
Mhm.
That was the first time that I actually like cared about someone who died. And then the Roboco episode was after that, and that was really good. And then they had a couple of really strong episodes, and then I feel like it kind of just completely defanged itself. Um, starting with the episode where it turns out everyone is fine and in heaven, and then
I mean, they're not fine. They're very much dead.
they're in heaven, Tim.
Well,
they're living better
They're
lives than us.
I don't know that the heaven
Do you-
stuff is necessarily meant to be taken at face value. And again, as far as the living characters are concerned, they are dead. They're dead. Like, let's be real here.
Logan did remind me that I did think some of the side characters and side guys were on the weaker side.
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't 100%
the Yuri
consistent.
couple was like
Oh, I
one
loved
main reason
them.
Chris hopped onto them, but I think their gag was. I think it was a one-off that was good, and then it kind of got a little dry after.
Well, they
I think Kirby
stopped
met
kind of
that
showing
game more.
up later.
Yeah, I think the assassin, the other assassin chick that became friend, the blue hair assassin chick.
Oh yeah,
and her sister wasn't really the best gag.
I
with the
just
whole boobs and
just
stuff.
commend them for committing to that, because that is a bit that escalated really far, and they just kind of were like, yeah, we're gonna keep going with it. Oh yeah, they age regressed, and oh yeah, they're living together now. She's still fucking crazy and a serial killer, but she's being nice, I guess. and this is just their life now, and you're like, okay.
Some gags didn't hit as hard as like others.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it was in front of comedy is one of the weaker ones for me. So I'm not saying it's like a perfect
I found
anime.
it.
Was
I
some
found it to
issues.
be consistently very funny, personally. And again, I want to emphasize this. What I was interrupting Logan about earlier. I don't think the ninjas dying quickly are like, haha, they had lives and families, but now they're dead. That's not the joke. I don't think. I think the joke is that, like, they are being killed so callously, but like the joke is more about, it's about the main character. It's about like how little she cares about them, because you find out she doesn't even really have the ability to distinguish them visually. Like, you slowly find out over time that the main character is just kind of a piece of shit, which adds to a lot of the comedy as well. And then again, I really want to.
My main character, do you mean Sadako or do you mean
I mean Sadako, the ninja. Yeah. Konoha, despite being a ruthless assassin, is the reasonable person, but she also has her own hangups, and they explore them
Sadako
too.
being so like go happy and like I don't mind, you know.
Yeah,
Jimmy
characters like
definitely
her
being
don't
crazy
tend to
about it.
be like that. Yeah. They
There's a lot of layers going on in
they
this
go
show
back and
for the
forth. They
comedy.
bounce around between who's more reasonable and who's more insane. And again, but I really want to emphasize, like, I didn't expect a show like this. This show has a lot of biting social commentary about the nature of having to like grind just to live and all of that. Like I said, I think the baby episode was really good for that too.
I don't think
Dude,
the show's comedy really hits.
the baby episode had so much ramifications.
It did. They really had to like, it fundamentally changed Konoha as a character for the rest of the show.
It did. That did.
And I don't want to even begin to unpack the psychosexual implications there. We're like, okay. Anyway,
Oh man, Oedipus, he was onto something.
if you want something that is hilarious and dark and wacky and completely unique, with a Shaft production, don't miss this one, guys. It was a real treat, in my opinion.
Legit, like one of my favorite anime of the season. Like it's gonna be a top contender of the year.
Okay.
Ooh, I wouldn't put it that high, but sure.
I wouldn't say top 5, but like definitely
It's
top
on.
10.
I liked this so much more than I thought I was going to. It's definitely one of the best comedies of the year so far.
Oh yeah.
If I'm categorizing Apocalypse Hotel as a comedy, though, then it is going to get beat there just this season.
Then I wouldn't. I mean, no, I wouldn't call it a comedy. I think.
What would you call it? I think I would call it. I don't know how Logan feels. I think I would call Apocalypse Hotel a comedy, but
I don't know if it's slice of life.
it's definitely not slice
we
of
can
life.
we can figure that out closer
Okay.
to the end of the year.
All right. Speaking of comedies,
But then
speaking
we
of
have Grand Blue
comedies,
as well this year, so don't forget
Yeah.
about that.
Okay. Next up, Rock is a lady's modesty.
Rockwell Lady no Tashinami Deshite.
Man, speaking of lesbians,
Yeah. This
A lot
show
of lesbian energy.
is Bocchi the Rock, but instead of a shy introvert, we have a brash tsundere pretending to be an Ojo-sama.
I mean,
And
it's
an
the only
insane
similarity that they're
masochist.
both bands.
Yeah,
There's 4 women.
Yeah,
There's not that much similar about them. Yeah,
they're both rock bands, and they both
Sure.
like try to be the best.
I think that it has very little in common, but sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I think that this show is very extreme in a lot of ways that work well to what it is trying to be about, and I like all of the characters. I especially like the main character. I think that she is really well fleshed out, and her desire to be at the top of this all-girls school to protect like her mother's reputation because she's poor and lower class and married into this high society, but at the same time absolutely refusing to give up something that she is the most passionate about, and then also kind of slowly realizing as the show goes on that this society is going to abandon her and push her to the side, and grind her out, and they just don't care about what she cares about. So I think she's going to learn to push past it.
I really like the main character and her like development and realization that she comes to, like you said. I think the other characters are definitely much more on the weaker side. I think
but they kind of
Otaha kind
need
of gets
to
a
be
realization
strong.
in the finale, in the last fight. She was like, "Oh, this is what band's like. This is like who I want to be." But like Tina and fucking Tamaki are like very like whatever characters. And I wish they got more fleshed out.
I'm sure they'll get more screen time in later seasons. I kind of like Tamaki a
so.
lot. I'll be completely honest.
She had potential,
and
but
Tina's just
I
there
don't
for the
think-
ride, baby.
Yeah, it's like they definitely feel weak compared to like
the main two.
Yeah, Lily.
I just love the dynamic. And also, like, how can you hate Otaha? She's a fucking freak. She's a weird girl.
But she says very mysterious until the very end, where we see a little glimpse of like
what she's
her
about,
characterization, what she's like. Yeah. I wish we saw more about the mom and how
I think
like
we're waiting. Yeah, I think
is.
we're gonna get more of that in future if we get another season of it. So I like. This is very much a part 1, I think, and I liked the win. Dude, the conclusion against the boy band was fucking sweet. Like they screamed at the boys for like 10 minutes, just fucking.
I mean, they screamed at everybody. I think that's definitely one of the highlights when they like losing their fucking mind.
Specifically, they shat all over them for like 10 minutes, which was extremely funny. So
the same thing at the festival with the composer dude, or the singer dude. They like shot on him.
Yeah, but he kind of redeemed that afterwards. Though they were nicer to him at the end.
Were they?
Yeah, he respected them by the end of it.
I don't know about that. But anyways, but yeah, I think that when they like lose their freaks and they like either like yell at each other or them, are definitely always one of the highlights of the show.
Yeah.
I really like the transition of the two fights about how like they leveled up their performance, realizing their fault in the fight against Tamaki's band to like the fight against the boy band. They wasn't necessarily the same exact fight. They like learned the lessons and adjusted. I do wish more like I don't know attentions were paid to each fight because it felt like they kind of like rushed through that. But I guess they were running out of episodes. I really like the younger sister becoming a fan.
Yeah, her arc was good.
She's been good.
Yeah.
She's
living the dream, bro. Anyway. Yeah. I think that this show is it's horny, but it's a horny good time, and it's horny in a way that anime usually isn't, in a very aggressive, sweaty BDSM way.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, I don't think it's like horny per se, but like the author definitely has a sweat fetish.
It's extremely horny.
I also think the BDSM is completely unnecessary to the show.
It's what the show's about. What are you talking about? It's like the core thing.
No, the BDSM is definitely a part of the show.
Yeah, it's about the aesthetic of it.
I don't think that's a core theme of the show.
No, it is.
Absolutely is. It is about domination and submission and who's taking control, and like rock as a metaphor for gay sex, and gay sex as a metaphor for rock and roll. It's all pretty obvious.
Yeah, no, it is.
But I think it's very fun and adds a lot of good flavor. And I don't think Logan will ever watch this show just because the girls they get so wet.
They get so sweaty.
There's a lot of sweat in this show.
probably one of the best shows I've seen since Hanebado.
Yeah, I was gonna say since Hanebado, I have not seen so much sweat.
Dude, I forgot about Hanebado. Oh my god, that show is so sweaty.
But like it makes sense. They're really leaning into it. Okay, I'm gonna give my one gripe. Otherwise, I like this show quite a lot. For a show that is meant to be about rock and roll and intense playing, I think that the music is kind of mediocre, and it does. I don't think. I think the performances are
great.
I think that the music is a little repetitive and not nearly as intense as it could be. I expected a little bit more. And maybe that I think I'm blessed in that the last two really good rock shows in Bochi and Girls Band Cry just had fantastic music, so maybe I'm spoiled, but like I just wish it was a little stronger.
I think Chris is an instrumental hater.
That is literally not true. I listen to
not.
So much math rock. I don't know what you're talking about. I think maybe because I'm a snob is why I thought this was a little mid.
Yeah, no, I think it's that's more what it is. Like, it's not that he listens to not enough; he listens to too much.
But that's kind of a minor complaint. I still think it was good. I think it worked, but I just wanted.
I think the performance is song wise and like animation wise, they were great. I like them a lot. Yeah, they were the best part of the show for me. Like,
oh no, the performances were the best part. I agree. I think they were great. Yeah. I just like,
Yeah, I mean, like my biggest gripe was just kind of like the character development. I'm like, I don't really. I did like the white hair girl. I liked her character development.
I love her switch up. It's really funny.
I do like her switch up a lot.
I think her becoming like a fucking submissive girl in the end was like.
But she's not really. You know what I mean? But she only is in.
She's a power bottom.
Yeah. I like her dynamic with the.
I think she changed up a little too fast, and then like
it was kind of played as a joke, but yeah. No, she's.
But she doesn't get any other like development other than that.
I expect her to
get her core identity.
I expect her to get more time in future.
Yeah.
I think like she was really in the grand scheme of things only just introduced. They only just got her in the band, so.
Tamaki only got one moment. I think Otoha only got one moment, but at least Otoha months was like a compelling moment for me. And then obviously Liz was like stole the show with.
There's a lot of
focused on her.
There's a lot of promise for this, and I will have to read the manga if we don't get more seasons of this anime, just because I think what the story that it is promising to tell about the future of the girls in the band is really interesting to me. So I would like more of this.
You'll probably have to read it.
But yeah.
I don't see a season 2 for the show. I don't think it was that popular. Though I would like to see
popular. Okay.
I would like to see it if it comes out.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. Quickly, Sentai Daishikaku Season 2. Juan and I got through like the first arc of this, which was okay, and then I dropped it because I was honestly not that hot on Season 1. It was solid, but the pacing on this was pretty bad. It was just I
finished the school arc.
I can't do slow shonen pacing anymore, man. It has to be really good and compelling, and this show is.
You completely missed out because the pacing goes zoom in the second half.
Yeah, well, whatever.
It is crazy.
I want to go back and watch it.
I would say it goes way too fast in the second half. So much happens in that arc. I will agree that the school arc was a bit repetitive. I think they probably could have turned the loop down like to maybe like 5 less loops was necessary. But yeah, after the school arc loop, it like really jumps up in the pacing, and a lot of happens with the Monster Society and the Rangers being disbanded and the Red Ranger getting killed and finding about the Shrine Priestess.
Hold on.
Weapons and the clones and why she's there. There's a lot. There's so much shit.
I'm gonna tune all that out if I ever decide to go back to it.
There's a traitor in the.
I wasn't paying attention, so I'm glad.
There's so much that happens. I kind of wish they slowed it down because I think so much happens way too fast. If your only problem with Sentai was that it was too slow for that school arc, then I would suggest you go back and watch it, the rest of it.
All right, yeah, that will definitely motivate us, or motivate me at the very least, to watch the second season. Chris, is that enough for you to like pick it back up or no?
No, I'm sorry. I don't think that this narrative is strong enough for me. It's interesting, but it might be something where I read a Wikipedia page later just to find out what happens, and not like I want to actually sit through this whole thing, or maybe read the manga. But Okay, Tim. Next up, Shoshiman series second season.
I want to say that by the end of the first season, fucking the main girl Yuki is like borderline psychopathic, and I cannot by any means support her anymore because of what she does in the first season. But like, I think that her aside, I think this show learned its lessons about being fucking boring, and while I still think the pace is probably a little slow and it's a little bit takes a while to get to its main points, I think the story writing and mystery definitely leveled up from the first season, and I think all the arcs were pretty compelling for the most part. And yeah, I think I can see why people. I remember now why I like Yoko so much, and what this author can actually do when he doesn't write a fucking story about how to put milk in hot chocolate.
Yeah, I have heard that this is a grower and got a lot better over time. So I don't know if it's worth necessarily the reinvestment of having to go back, watch all of season 1 and then all of season 2, but I'm glad that it's good because it looked interesting.
Was in that fucking Ostana a fucking psycho, and I don't trust it at all. I wish you see season 1 because this bitch is crazy.
God forbid women do anything. All right, next up is Vigilante, Boku no Hero Academia Illegals.
That's me. I'm illegal.
Hold on. for the purposes of the podcast, this is a bit. Oh, you're also not. You're an American citizen.
I'm an American citizen. It's okay.
ICE, if you're listening. Yeah.
ICE don't. I'm legal in the U.S. Anyway, Vigilantes. So I haven't finished season 1. I got like 2 episodes left, but like I think that's like enough for me to like put my piece in. As the My Hero Academia fan of the group, this is actually like very cool because like My Hero, like it is so big scale, especially towards the end. So like to scale it all the way back down to just like city level crime, dude, this show is fun. Like I like the low level crime, like. But like, there's also like a bit of a narrative where the villains are like starting to like become like out of control because of the bee lady. I mean, like that actually like puts some stake into it, but like we're like slowly learning more and more about the characters. I really like I don't know what his name is, the main character of the show. How
the crawler,
the crawler, God,
the cooler. I think that's what
they always like mispronounce his name. It's a good bit. I like it. He's a good main character. Like he really is like Deku as a college student, but like, you know, without being All Might Junior.
Deku didn't get All Might's power, and he was like striving to be a superhero, even, you know, having mediocre power and no powers.
Mm-hmm. Like, and what's really cool about this show is like this is like technically like a prequel of like the entire events of My Hero. So like you get to see like some of the heroes that we saw like throughout the series, like doing their job as heroes. So I mean, like my favorite one so far is Ingenium. Like we get to see him like in his work. Like he is such like a wasted hero within My Hero's.
Is he alive in the main series? I feel like I never see him.
I mean, the older brother, like, no, he's alive, but like, you know, he's out of commission now. So like, now it's up to the.
He's out of commission. Okay.
Yeah, he's out of commission, but like now I mean, because like his brother, the Ida, like he takes up the mantle of Ingenium.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
I just forget if he was alive or not.
They just don't do much of his character afterwards, which really sucks. So like, getting to see him like in his full potential of like being a speedster character, it's fun. It's very cool. I like him. I like him a lot. So, where does the season end, Tim? Like, does it like resolve the bee lady thing?
You read the manga?
No, I have not. No. But like, I just want to know like where it goes.
Is the bee lady is resolved?
It is resolved. Okay.
Yeah. I think season 1 was a good stopping point for the show, and also for fucking Batman over there.
Knuckle Duster, dude. Knuckle Duster's the fucking best. He's a new idol that aspire to be.
I think it also shows hint that the show is not going to be complacent and just be repetitive. I think it's going to have the characters grow and change as the show goes on. They kind of hinted at it. They didn't exactly say explicitly, but that's what I feel like the show's going in. So I'm excited to see that happen in the next season. I like how all the characters and how they handle them for sure. I think they all have their own unique charm and identity, and they don't like clash with each other at all. I think maybe Pop is maybe the weakest because her reason for fighting or helping is kind of boils down to she likes the main character and that's it. So
yeah, but like I mean,
she gets a little more.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
because obviously the main guy does it because he wants to be a hero and he admires All Might a lot, and then the fucking Batman is because of his daughter. But like she's like was a pop idol who now helps them because she likes the dude. So it's like I hope she gets a little bit more. But I think they all have their own unique quirks, and that's good.
Yeah.
I also like how the villains aren't actually like villains in the show. Like it's a very low level, other than the fucking bee lady. But like all the other people who go psycho or kind of like mean are kind of like actually not that bad at people once you like get to know them.
Yeah, it's like people aren't born bad; they're just bad situations.
The main guy actually ends up helping Batman. I don't know.
I like how you're calling him Batman. He has a pretty memorable name, Knuckle Duster.
But I like calling him Batman. It's just like the idea of fucking Batman and My Hero.
Yeah. Dude, like I remember like early on My Hero, I remember people were thinking that Deku was gonna be like Batman, but then like it was like, oh wait, he just becomes All Might. Okay, that's fine too, I guess.
I would have liked to see an AU where he just becomes Knucklebuster 2.0.
Yeah. But yeah, so the My Hero Vigilantes, it's good. Like, if you're a fan of My Hero, watch this. If you're not a fan of My Hero, but like you like shonen, watch this. Like, this is a prequel. Like, it might like actually like get your interest to actually go pick up My Hero.
I feel like the German stuff is going to be less without knowing the universe and
but you could.
You could, but I think I would still recommend at least watching like one season.
All right. Next
go ahead.
up is Windbreaker Season 2. I think you have the last two, Tim, so yeah, just take us home.
Damn, it's just me, huh?
Yeah.
Windbreaker Season 2. I think Season 2 felt like an improvement of the first season. I think Season 1 was mostly just a bunch of guys punching each other, which is a fun time. But like Season 2 was that, but it also gave time to like be competent and write out his characters more and give them more emotional moments of development, which I think was kind of missing Season 1. I'm also kind of upset at people because a lot of people were like hating Season 2 because one of the main characters like I think they just like cross-dressing. I don't think they're any.
Yeah, there are guys from. I've seen a bunch of clips from that part just because people were praising it online, and I thought it was
people praising it, but a lot of people just absolutely hate that moment. They like despise him because he likes cross-dressing. So this core definitely got like review bombed down a bit, but I'm proud for them for doing that and exploring that aspect of the show and giving cool characters moments. I think it's good. It's doing a good job of finding the balance of like. Here's some really cool fight scenes, some clever work, and also these are like compelling characters, and there's a reason for you to like follow them, like them, and there's like a story building out. So I think it was a pretty big improvement over, not a big improvement, but I think it is heading in the improvement direction of Season 1. And so if there's a future seasons, I'll definitely be checking it out. Yeah. So and Zatsu Tabi, that journey is another slice of life. It's probably, if I'm going to be honest, the weakest of the three, but it also feels the most like grounded and realistic of the three, where like this literally is just a girl traveling around Japan by herself, having a good time, and it like vibes with me on a personal level because I look at her and I'm like, this is something that has happened to me literally. It literally has something happened to me when I've done traveling solo. Between like her being like, I don't know, I'm just gonna choose a random place and figure out a cool place to go from there. It's something like I do a lot too. Or to her like going to a place and getting lost in buses, or her being like, oh, the place is closed, and having like these minor, like very trivial like conflicts and problems she comes across when she's traveling. It just vibes to me. It's very like ground to earth, and it's just like I was like, yeah, if someone was to animate me traveling around Japan, I think this would be the exact anime. And I just, yeah, it's cool. It was fine. I kind of wish it was in a weaker season, but yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to stand out when Mono's
shows.
happening the same season. Yeah.
But yeah, you want to talk about our top 3 of the season?
That about does it for our list. So let's go back through. Juan, give us our top 3 favorite anime 2025 summer. No, spring.
Spring.
All right. Well, I only had 5 shows that I could like really rank here. So out of these 5 shows, my top 3. Number 1, Ninkoro. God, the show was so fucking fun and so dark. Episode 6 changed my life. The Roboco episode.
That was episode 5. You fake fan.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, yeah.
Second up, Mono. It's Eurocamp 2, baby. How can you go wrong with that? And then third, Rockwell Lady, Bochi the Rock, if Ojo-sama.
It's just not accurate at all. Okay.
And sweaty. And very, very sweaty.
It's more like it's if Hanebado was about rock and roll.
There you go.
Okay, my top 3 are Kusaria aired. Damn, how uninteresting. Mine is gonna be the same as Logan. I'll say Ninkoro at number 3. It was really hard to pick between that and Mono. Both are very good. And then Kusaria season 2. Just because it's continuing to knock it out of the park. And then my number 1 is going to be Apocalypse Hotel. That probably isn't too much of a surprise.
Yeah, I have, in fact, Chris's exact list in that exact order, but in your head, you can put like a power gap between Ninkoro and
me too.
Apocalypse
Like,
Earth.
I'm not trying to say that they're, but like, I still loved all
You can
three of
put a
those shows.
bigger one.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me is going to be Ninkoro, which is that what you guys had?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it was number 1. Just
it was, yeah,
but
it was me and Logan. So yeah.
Number 2 for me is actually going to be The Food for the Soul.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think number 1 is going to be Apocalypse.
Yeah. All right. So I think that means across the board that you guys need to go watch Apocalypse Hotel if you haven't seen it yet. And Ninkoro. So there you go. But lots of good choices. I even if it was a bit of a shorter list for this season for what we actually all like watched and like, there's some bangers. Like I gave a 10. That doesn't happen every season. Doesn't happen every year even. So yeah.
You gave it a 10. That's crazy.
Yeah, I gave it it made a 10.
Imagine not giving Orb a 10.
I mean, I gave it a 9. That's very close to
that's
a 10.
not a 10. That's not a 10 though.
Okay, we can't be splitting hairs about this. Come on. Okay, it's still one of the best shows of the year. Okay, so that about does it for us this time. Tune in next time for probably the fall preview question mark. We might do a mid-season episode. Who fucking knows? Maybe. Oh, we should talk about this after the podcast. We might be doing a top
mid
No. A
mid-decade.
Mid-decade show. So we did this before we were recording the podcast, but we actually did a top anime of the decade at the beginning of 2020. That was like 2010 through 2019, just kind of going through everything in the same style as our show. We are going to do a more limited and scaled back version of that for the first 5 years of the 20s. So 2021 through 2024. And that we probably should pick a date for that because damn, it's already fucking July and I thought about doing it this month. So maybe next month. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. We got some shit coming out on the feed for y'all. But until next time, thanks for watching.
Nice. See ya later.